Okay, welcome. We got a little bit more business to take care of here. I'll do that one. Participants. Invite. Copy the invitation. Okay, Stunt Hangar. Goes away. Got a message from somebody. Bill Hummel. I'll be going in a second. Got to award somebody their badge because they used somebody else's computer. Change profile. Okay, log in. Okay, back to at the bench. See, at the bench. New topic. Monday night. Paste. Okay, the link is now live on Stunt Hangar. Gotta go here. Get this open. Stunt Hangar Zoom. Let's go here. Okay, so nobody's chatting. That's good. This one here, it takes a lot to get this set up to go. Okay. And this one goes open big like that. And we got for watching. Okay, welcome to Stunt Hangar Monday night hangout. As soon as we get some people in here, I'll go to work again on this thing. We might get it joined tonight. Maybe. Let's see here. We need to go here. And go to this cam here. As soon as somebody comes in, I can do a little magic here. There we go. It's Ed Wasky.
Howdy. How you doing, sir?
Good.
I apologize. The other night I was under the weather and had a real busy day and listened to it, but I couldn't sit here and join in. So sorry about that.
That's all right. I'm wondering where Gary's at. He's usually the first one on.
Yeah. I'll let him know it's pretty bad if I beat Gary.
So, how's your school program going, or whatever you're doing there?
Well, there's several things going on. Of course, I'm doing the expo in August for anybody that wants to show up state or out of state wide, where it's all hands on with flying control line, radio control, free flight, rockets, you name it. But tomorrow, I'm going to a high school where we're doing talking with the kids to let them know what the opportunities are here in West Virginia. But I always go into how a lot of us started with model aviation and that.
Burt
So,
Rattan started with model aviation.
yep, Burt Rattan, Neil Armstrong, Hoot Gibson. There's a bunch of them, and I try to let them know that. And there's a lot of good feedback. And I did talk with the state education office where they're working on a program for middle school and high school to let people know about it. But also, Sparky, what I'd like to do is try to have a control line fun fly in 2026, but it would have to be like in September because the turf that I could use wouldn't be available until after all the summer competition and stuff is done.
Here's a little fun fact about Hoot Gibson. Him and I were in the same squadron together.
Oh, wow,
VF 124 and VF 211.
man. That's something though. It just who's out there and stuff. We have a guy. Oh, geez. Now that let's talk about it. William Bennett from Weston, West Virginia, and I do a thing about him in regards to he in World War I, he lasted 9 days at the front and shot down 12 hot air balloons. And there's people doing stuff from all over. And Katherine Johnson, Homer Hickam, all of that is out there. And people just got to realize that it could be you. Also, with this thing we got going tomorrow, weather holding, which like it will, we got 2 helicopters going to land at the school. So you need something flying to grab their attention, and then from there on, you got to try to educate them and what's out there, and see what their interests are, and that. So can only try. So is that a balsa wood spar?
Yep.
Okay.
Gonna be back there with carbon toe.
Oh, okay.
It's also a plywood bell crank floor because
Yep, I figured that one.
I was gonna do this carbon spar, but this carbon spar was too hard to sand
Gotcha.
to make fit perfect because it's got to, when it goes together, it's got to fit with no.
Right, no air gaps or no voids. You don't want to be like Ocean Gate.
Did you see where the Chinese use fake steel?
Oh, in Thailand?
I guess that's where it is.
Yeah, that was built in Thailand. My buddy lives there, and he was letting me know that he was okay when it first happened. But yeah, no surprise there. That's one of the things you really got to watch out for and in the States is people substituting. If you don't have a main general contractor overseeing, good luck. That's a shame because people lose lives over it, but what do you do? Sometimes the cheapest isn't the best. That's what I tell my customers. I'm the best, but I'm not the cheapest, and I'm not the most expensive.
I'm the buy once, cry once guy. I buy the best that I can do. It's going to cost more, but
Yeah.
only got to
Yep.
do it once.
I hear you.
And I'm surprised nobody's in here yet.
Oh, they'll come about, and I think Joel Knoll is over with, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's over with, and there we go. Mr. Lane's coming in.
Okay.
Hey guys,
Howdy.
I don't know.
But Sparky, some of it has to be also with all this end of the school year. I supposedly had volunteers to help me do some stuff, and every time you turn around, no, I got a swim meet, I got a tennis meet. We're going here, we're going there. It's like, oh, okay. So parents are driving all over the place. We just got to get the parents to get the kids to fly. Oops, sorry.
I was thinking about selling these as kits. There's no way. You know, guys want to pay $250 for this kit. I've got 3 weeks in this, and I don't even have an airplane yet. Of course, it is a prototype, but
Sorry about that. She doesn't like the neighbor's dogs. But yeah, I know what you're saying. If you look at the money, okay, then look at the time frame. How many man hours?
About
Well,
$5 an hour.
The
yeah.
second piece of photographic paper I brought has a line.
If I charge $5 an hour, this thing would be $3,000.
Well, and all the people trying to manufacture and stuff out there is dealing with the same thing. And that, geez, the price of everything.
Well, there's $60 worth of carbon and glass in this, and $60 worth of resin, and that's not even the good stuff. I'll be
Yeah.
doing next one out of the good stuff. So there's 160 and just in that. Then there's my time.
Yep. I hear you. Well, I will tell you, with the way things have been going, if you look at in the last 2.5 years, I have had to raise basic coming on board salary with your license but no experience by 52%.
I sure wish I lived close to you. Even though I'm old, I want to go back to work.
Yeah. Yeah, I had several guys only stopped working just physically because they couldn't travel or do it and stuff. You know, the experience, finding the experience. We have to train everybody because of what we do. You can't go out and hire.
Well, I was trained as an AMS, aviation structure mechanic. So
Oh my
basically,
golly.
I ran the corrosion control crew,
Yep.
and I still remember all that shit. All of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course, I got Mitsubishi Heavy Industries on the field here, which bought out the part of Bombardier, and they can't find enough structures guys. But we even have special programs to where you go to a special structure school, and then you've got a job. You don't have a license, but because of the way they're set up, they can have you dictated legally on what you can and can't do on an aircraft.
Well, my forte was painter of gray. People say, you painted ships? No, I painted airplanes.
Yeah. I remember when I was at Point Magoo, my buddy was structures, and on the P3s, there was a lot of corrosion issues with some of the wing skin things where they overlap and things. I remember him doing that quite a bit.
You got working corrosion, you got, from rubbing back and forth, dissimilar metal where you got one type of
Yep.
material against
Yep.
another. You got working rivets, intergranular corrosion. There's all kind of shit that goes on.
Yep. It's interesting. And, it's not easy to get a guy that is good at sheet metal and stuff and all that. So, but it's like any of that stuff, if you specialize yourself, you never have to worry about a job.
Most guys don't know what bend allowance is, and
Bend allowance setback.
yeah. Normally the parts come out too big or too small.
Yeah.
What's up, Gordy?
Oh, finally remembered. Thought I'd join in, see what's happening. What
Hey,
are we looking at? What are you working on there?
This is a carbon fiber Perky. Here, I'll make it big.
Oh, that's the wing?
Yeah, this is the bottom of the wing. Let's see here. Spotlight for everyone.
What's the wingspan on that?
18 inches.
And what do you put two half together after you put your controls in?
Well, no, I'm putting in a spar and the bell crank mount. This is the top of the wing, so the bell crank mounts to the top of the wing, and then there's a hole in here for the fuselage, or for the bell crank to come out, and it comes out the bottom. This is the fuselage mold.
Oh,
Just
so the bell crank's going to be open, exposed?
Inside the airplane, it'll be open. You know what I'm saying? You won't be able to see it when the airplane halves are when the fuselage is put together.
Oh, okay, I got you.
This is the bottom. This goes in the top, and it goes together like so. And the engine's upside down. So the whole airplane is that you could fly it without this bottom on.
Okay. So what engine you going to put in it?
Rusty, you remember Rusty, right?
Rusty Brown?
Rusty Knowlton.
Oh, Lefty.
The guy who he used to host this show.
Yeah.
Years ago. Well, he passed away, so he gave me this Cox Conquest 15. I know it's not going to be competitive, but I had this engine. Huh?
It'll run good.
Well, I hope so.
So what's your projection as far as weight goes?
I'm going to try to make it 16 ounces, no more than 16 ounces.
Oh, that'll scoot right along.
Is that too heavy?
No, not at all.
Do you know
Not
anything?
Not for that type of an airplane.
You know anything about Perky? Yeah, you build Perkies?
I haven't, but a good friend of mine built one.
You know how heavy it was?
I don't remember. He built it, probably 15, 20 years ago. I remember we went out and test flew it. I can't remember what motor he had in that.
It goes to, this is the top. This is the bottom. And the wing slides through. This is just half a wing, but the wing slides through so you could take the bottom off. And then this is the stabilizer elevator. The laminated 2 pieces of 16th with Kevlar in between. That Kevlar is the hinge. So the whole thing.
You'll never wear that out.
Then on top of this is going to go this. I'm going to put this carbon fiber on top and bottom of this. So the fuselage will be made out of carbon fiber. This is just the mold here.
Right.
This was the plug.
Well, it came out nice, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's taken me 3 weeks to get a wing. It ain't easy. So
Yeah.
now that I've figured out how to do a wing, I got to figure out how to do a fuselage. But I'm going to get this wing together tonight while we're on here.
So the bell crank will be inside the fuselage on top of the wing.
Yes,
Right.
it's inside the fuselage.
Yep.
The fuselage, there's the bell crank, but the wing will be up inside of this. And then the push rod will go back.
Well, that's a fun project.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But I couldn't get a hold of Danny. So I had to make this up as I go, how to get it molded. So I first carved, I got them over there, I carved the wing out of solid balsa, split it in half, glued it on a piece of plastic, then fiberglassed over the top of that and popped it off, and then poured this mold here, which I got one over here.
Oh, wow.
This is the top, this is the top mold. But I had to make a positive to make this mold, which is in that box over there. I'll go get that. Okay. So this is one half of the positive. So I got two of these, one for the top, one for the bottom. So then you take this and then you make the mold out of that, peel it off. So now you got a negative, and then you can start making the positives.
Right.
It's
Well, that's a lot of work.
yeah, ridiculous. Ridiculous.
The only thing close to that type of racing, I built a really acute Goodyear racer. And it lasted one contest.
I didn't know what to do with the 15, and Carl Dodge sent me a set of Perky plans. And I'm going to read it. This is what gave me the idea for this project, because I want to build a full-size stunner out of carbon. But it says right here on the first line, the model must be built to the outline of the original 46 Mego Perky design. Construction modifications are allowed. There's nothing about this that was done in 1946. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, was this designed in 46?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, it's going to go faster now than it did back then.
Yeah, they used ignition engine. The motors are. The engine size shall be a 15 cubic inch glow or diesel engine or a 19 cubic inch ignition engine. So they use those F3A or whatever the combat guys are. 4 engines is what Mike tells me.
Yeah, I've got a 4 on one of their weird combat designs. You know, I tried running that, you know, they're 400 square inches, and I tried to run one of my hopped up Super Tigers, and it was a dog. And so I broke down and bought a Fora, and boy, did it wake it up. 30,000 RPM on the ground.
Well, I don't have one, so all I have is this Cox Conquest motor. So
That'll be a good motor. You get the right prop, they'll scream.
but it's been a interesting project.
I don't know. Will they run with the Nelson 15?
Yeah, but the Nelsons are slow compared to the Forest.
Yes. How about a Rossi?
Yeah, any 15. I wish I had one of them too, Nelson or a Rossi.
I think I'm not positive. I got over 100 engines, and it seems like I remember seeing a Rossi 15 in there.
What do you want for it?
Well, if I can find it, I'll just mail it to you.
That'll work. Have to take that out. You probably didn't follow the series on this, how this was done, but I have this extra wing here, and how I figured out how to get the molds zeroed out is I took the top and put this wing in this mold, put the mold on top of it, and then bolted it together so that they were aligned right. Then took it out to my table saw and squared the mold off.
So what are you going to glue the two halves together with? Epoxy?
Same shit that I put it together with. I'm going to take toe and go around the outside of this. And while it's all, I'll put toe on top of this, toe along the bottom. And while that's all nice and mushy, I'll squish it together and let it set up. I hope that does it.
Well, that's really a cool. You're doing a great job on that. A lot of work.
Yeah, like I said, I couldn't get a hold of Danny, and I had no idea how to do it. So I just sat and thought about it. How, I started molding halves. I'll show you this mold.
Hi, Howard.
Hi.
Good to talk to you the other day.
Yeah.
You've been flying at all?
No.
Well,
But
Northwest is coming up. You better get back in the groove.
Yes, I know.
Well, Gordy, this is a casted piece. Let me make it big here. Present for everyone. This is one half of a wing. So when I put it together, it would have a seam in the center. And I got this. I shouldn't do it that way. I should build the whole thing. So I abandoned this. I did mold. I took this out, the half out, and I put it on one of them boards like I showed you, and I made two of these molds. And I got to think, well, this is no good. Oh, no, wait a minute. I did make one, and I put it together, and the seam, you could see the seam in the center. I said, well, we'll just scrap it and start again. So I carved a whole new wing in one piece, and then made this setup.
So how many hours you got in that thing now?
3 weeks, about 120 hours.
Are you going to
Yeah.
bag the car?
What'd you say, Howard?
Are you going to vacuum bag the skins?
Oh yeah, all this was vacuum bagged.
Okay, good. I think that's the way that Igor's hollow props are made.
They got foam in them.
No, they got air in them.
Wow. How does he do that, Howard?
I think there's two molds, top and a bottom, and he vacuum bags the carbon to skin to the mold, and then joins the two skin,
See,
trims the edges off.
you look at this was vacuum bagged to this board here. I'll take it out. It was vacuum bagged to this board. And when I go to put them together, I'll vacuum bag them together so that they'll smash down to each other.
Yeah.
But I had to have these bolts for alignment.
Yep. You keep molds when you put them together, right?
Pardon me?
You keep them in molds when you put them together.
At pulse, I keep them, vacuum down. Let the pump run till it's hardened.
Yeah, but when you join the top and the bottom,
Right?
you keep it still in the mold.
Yes. You're kind of cutting out. Yeah, they'll be in the mold together. That way it'll hold its shape.
Now, is this for you or for somebody else?
This is for me. I was gonna try to sell them, but I could never get my money. Or nobody want to pay what it's worth.
No.
Like
Well,
I say, go ahead.
I gotta just say that'll be a fun one to fly.
I ain't gonna fly it. I'll let somebody else fly it.
Well, you can be the pit man then.
Yeah. I'll be the engine tuner.
There you go.
I got a new innovation that I thought up for the top fuselage. I'm going to use the EPON 862 resin, the same stuff I make my fuel tanks out of. Now the engine's upside down in this because of head pressure. You want as much head pressure as you can get. So for the top of the fuselage, behind the wing, I got to figure out the volume to make 1 ounce. I'm going to make this whole thing right here will be the fuel tank. Not the whole thing, but 1 inch of this will be the fuel tank. Instead of having to put an extra piece on it, this will be the fuel tank. If fuel tank springs a leak, just make another top.
Cool.
But you're supposed to get it up as high as you can, and I don't see how I can get any higher than use the fuselage itself as the tank.
Why do you want it as high? I thought you wanted to be in line with your spray bar. The center of the tank.
It's something to do with it. It's because they don't allow pressurized systems on this, so you got to have head pressure.
I got you.
Yeah. Never mind.
There's no overflow on this even. It's just 2 lines. You fill it through the pickup and let it puke out the overflow, and it's pointed forward. And I mean, they're pretty slick. Let me show you a picture of what one looks like.
Are there any videos to show them flying?
Not yet. Okay, this belongs to, I think it's Al. I can't remember his last name. Let's see, Share. Jim Vagani built it. And we want to share this picture here. I don't know how good this is going to do, but we'll try. Did it come through?
Yep. Looks
Oh,
nice.
Yeah,
That's
that's got a fora in it. That's made out of balsa wood. That's what they look like.
Boy, with the 4 in there, I imagine that thing really hauls butt.
They're on 52-foot lines. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Is there a different pull test since they're so fast?
25 Gs.
Oh, wow. Okay. Definitely.
Do you know how fast that 4 is going at all?
120, 23. So Mike's got the record supposedly. 123.
Now, is that proto time or top end?
It's 16 laps. They fly 1 mile
Okay, so it's a proto start,
from standing start, and they let it go.
right?
Whatever they call that. I don't know nothing about the event.
Boy, from a standing start, that's really a fast little airplane.
Then they
You'll
got
have-
another thing where they average the time. So you can win by having the top speed, or you can win by everybody puts their time together and they average it. Whoever's closest to the average wins. Either way. They called this event Postal Perky because everybody would mail their times in and they would average it.
Right. That's what Bob did.
Like I say, I have never flown the event. I don't know anything about it. I just thought it'd be a fun project to teach myself to learn how to make a full-size stunner out of it.
Well, let's see. If you got 120 hours in it now, a full-size Thunder, you probably have about 450 hours.
That's about the same as building it out of wood, I guess.
Yeah. I think building out of wood be easier, at least for me.
Well, I can guarantee you this. If I made this out of wood, we'd be flying it already.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, making composite airplanes gives you a respect for balls.
Yeah. Yep. I can guarantee that we'd be flying it. I wouldn't be looking at this piece of shit on the table.
Which is faster, a Rossi or a, oh, my mind just went blank.
Yeah,
Which one?
the one that's not the
You're breaking up there.
the one that's not the Rossi.
Yeah.
The Fora?
No. Oh, a Nelson or a
Nelson?
is the Nelson faster?
Yes,
I
it
would, I would imagine. If I could get Henry to breathe on it, it'd be a whole lot faster.
He breathes on all.
Hey, Gordy,
Yes, sir.
I took your advice, and on a plane that I'm building, I put in about a half, 3/4 of a positive degree on the stab, horizontal stab.
Yep.
So I should be okay.
Yeah, just about under a 30-second. You just want a slight amount of positive.
Okay, that's what I did. We'll see.
It'll be just fine. For some reason, you can put a little positive and it flies great, but if you put negative in them, you end up with an airplane like I had, and I fought and fought until I finally figured out it was negative, and I put more negative in. Finally, I cut it loose and raised it 330 seconds.
Wow. Well, I figured, it's probably a good idea anyway, just in case you're slightly off on your measurements or they get bumped and you don't want a negative. So at the worst, it might be 0, if not slightly above. So I should be just, like I said, about a half a degree above.
Yeah, it's called a Raptor, and it turned blinding outside. It's just hammer them, come out nice and flat. And I crashed it probably 4 times on an hourglass. Two of the times is with Dave Fitzgerald here, and we went out and trying to figure out why it won't turn insides. And every time it hit, it came right back up flying. Bend the landing gear, the motor it just keep on running. And then I did it once at the Nats on asphalt, and it took both the rubber wheels off. Barked off down the tarmac trying to get my wheels, and it came right back up flying again. And finally, I figured out what the problem, and it always flew like it was tail low. And after I raised it, I went out and it flew perfectly level, and it just hammered the corners. It was probably the best airplane I ever owned after I raised the stab.
And they don't fly worth a shit with negative incidents.
Boy, you got that right.
I've cut several airplanes apart and raised the stab and made them way better.
Yep.
What one you talking about, Gordy?
Pardon?
What plane you talking about?
It was called a Raptor that Norm Whittle drew up, and it was kind of a takeaway of the impact.
Oh, okay.
I won a concourse award with it down in Golden State, but it still wouldn't turn.
Yeah.
You know, and a good friend of mine told me how to check it because I had a flat stab. He says, well, check it up with your inches meter and put a level on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do that. So I did it, thinking I'd probably have to lower it more. And I raised the front of the level up, and crap, it's got negative in it. You know, and I put negative in it 2 more times. So that's why I ended up going so much positive. And as soon as I went positive, as soon as it took off, I knew it was better.
There's magic involved in that. I don't know why.
Well, the Impact is just an amazing airplane anyway. I don't know what it is about it, but they sure fly good.
Yeah. You know, it had the thick airfoil. It was a little better looking than the Impact, but most of it was probably Impact numbers.
Yeah.
I remember when Paul started flying the Impact. It was so impressive, unbelievable corners, come out flat.
Yeah.
Always wanted to fly one, but he never offered. You know, and I just don't go up to somebody, hey, can I fly your airplane?
I'll tell you what, the ones that I've seen of his that have flown, I don't think I've ever seen a bad one. But the only one that really scared me was I was watching him at the Worlds, not the last one, but the one before where he was competing. And the red, white, and blue Mustang with a Sato 72, and it just went boom. And we're trying to figure out what happened. I think it shed a blade, and then the vibration took it apart. But I don't know. I don't know that Paul knows for sure exactly what happened. But it sure blew up.
Did you destroy the airplane?
Oh, it trust me, it was destroyed.
You know, at the Nats, when I had my first Tony there with the Sato 72, a lot of guys were running 6 and 7-inch pitch. And on mine, I was running 3.34.
Holy crap.
Pitch.
12,000 RPM?
Oh, well,
Golly.
the valves wouldn't let it go any faster. But talk about thrust. Dave Fitzgerald says, you need to tell somebody this thing's about drives you across the car mat. The target. I mean, it was, and the lap times were perfect, 5:35. It had power to go through the wind. And it never sped up because it couldn't go any, the engine couldn't
Wasn't
go.
nowhere to go. Wasn't anywhere to go.
Exactly. So, and I know Paul, I clocked him at the Nats that year, and he was flying 4.6 lap times, the ones I clocked.
Yeah. He flies a little quicker than I do. And the plane that I picked up, Paul likes the plane. I think it's slightly tail heavy. It felt slightly tail. And I mean, it with that long nose, I don't know where it balanced exactly, but if it balanced, it says it's an impact. And if it's an impact, it's supposed to balance where mine balances. I just take my fingers and stick in it like that and hold it up. And that one was tail heavy. Not a lot, but a little bit. I thought, wow.
It was where he wanted it. I can assure you.
Oh, I guarantee you. I guarantee you, because I had just watched it fly. Paul can fly that airplane.
Electric ones are a little farther forward. The CG.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's probably what it is, because I'm used to the fuel one. I don't have an electric one yet.
Howard, do you have
Yet.
Berger's new setup yet?
I don't know. I've got the latest one. I've got the second version.
I don't know what. I
Nope.
flew some of Daly's airplanes. They were impressive. The power plant works well.
Whose airplane?
Daly's, Joe.
Joe
Yeah.
Daly's.
He got a new green one with
Oh,
Igor's
that thing is
new
pretty
system.
too.
New system.
That
It
thing
was
is pretty too.
it's impressive.
Steve Smith, did you get your stuff on the way home? You're muted.
I did.
How much was that wire a foot?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
$3 a foot?
Could have been. I don't know. I can get the receipt and let you know.
Did you find the right kind of spinner?
No, I forgot about the spinner.
Dang.
You took a picture and everything, so you got to have a spinner before you come back.
Yeah. I got a couple, I think, already. Got to look.
They look exactly like the one I showed you, right?
I haven't looked at them, so I don't know.
Got to be a flat back plate. And I don't like the ones that you got to screw on with 2 screws, but
Yeah, that's what I got.
with the engine prop adapter you got with no holes in it.
Hey, Robert,
Yeah,
give me your address, will you?
I'll send it to you on the forum.
What's that?
I'll send it. Well, let me do that right now. Hold on. I'll send you a personal message.
Joe,
Yes.
Okay.
I sent you a left-handed line reel.
I can use it, dude. This is look at this.
I'll send you a fix for it.
Look, I can handle it.
Yeah.
It's got to go this way. I'm ambidextrous.
Oh, you are.
It
Oh.
just goes this way
I
into
give
there.
the right arm. Yeah, but
I can use. This is the greatest thing anybody ever gave me. Did you see this? It's got my name in it.
That's cool.
It's better than cool. It's awesome, dude.
it's left-handed. Are you left?
No, I'm not left-handed, but I don't. You have to wind it like this, and you hook the little. It's even got little hooks on it just right. But I can hook the hooks there. Go through. Oh, it is. I see what you're saying. Yes, it is left-handed.
I didn't know that till Jimby told me.
It is left-handed.
I got to fix. I got a thing that, yeah, I got to fix.
It's cool. It's a toy too, so you can spin her. We can cheer
Oh, Lord.
ourselves. Yay!
Oh Lord.
Okay, Gordon, I sent you a private message. Did you get it?
I don't know. Where
I see
do I,
it.
to regular,
Go down the bottom where it says messages.
Put that in there. Put that in. You got to do it this way. You're right, Howard, but I can do that. That's not a problem. I'm pretty ambidextrous.
We'll fix you up.
Okay. I think they're great.
Find
It
it?
is great.
no,
Even the little snap piece goes into grooves. Somebody you did some ciphering on this.
okay, I found it.
Okay.
I got it. I'm going to copy it down while I got it.
Well, Gary Sinclair is here.
What's that?
So Jonathan Carruthers. Gary Sinclair snuck in on me. He's usually first in.
Yeah.
Did I hear my name?
Yeah, you heard your name.
Yeah,
I had Bryce Reckley phoned me, and he phoned me from work and said, Steve's talking about the judging stuff for the F2B. And I thought I might be interested in that, Steve. Stephen Smith, where's he gone? Not there.
he went away for a minute.
Ah,
He
He'll
left
be back.
Elvis left the building.
Oh,
left
my
the building.
word.
Oh, God.
Hey, Gordon,
He'll
I
be
ended up
back.
with a 2-inch SIG bell crank, a nylon bell crank. I can't use that in this, can I? That's too weak.
Yeah, being nylon, that I wouldn't trust it.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a phenolic one. Do you think a 16th thick phenolic one would be enough, or should I make it 1/8 inch?
No,
Oh,
I
this
think
thing's cool. I'd go 8.
I think 16th being a phenolic could be plenty strong.
See, here's this bell crank here, and I just
That way, yeah. I think you're asking for it using that, Robert.
That's for a half 8. That's not for something that pulls like a screaming 15.
I'd trust a Fox bell crank cut down before I'd trust that.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I'll make one out of phenolic, but you think 16th is enough, huh?
Well, hang on a 16th. If you made a 16th bell crank that side and mounted it, how hard do you think you'd have to pull it to destroy it?
I couldn't.
50 pounds?
No, I couldn't destroy it. Linen phenolic? No way.
Yeah. One time, and I can't remember, somebody had those bell cranks that Tom Morse made. Aluminum was balsa.
Those are
And
Brett
they
Buck
folded
bell
over.
cranks.
Well, I had one. So I carried that rascal down to Louisiana and Blanchard, and I tried to kill it. And we pull tested that thing to like 65 pounds and it didn't break. And I thought, well, that's probably good enough.
Yeah, wait a minute. What happens with those is they become delaminated from the balsa wood. And once they become delaminated, the airplane crashes.
I soaked CA in mine and I drilled holes, 2 holes each side. And I used to rib aluminum, soft aluminum rivets and tack.
I ain't trusting those no more.
And then probably, I don't know.
I don't want to hear that. I used one of my last airplane I built.
Yeah, there's been guys crash their airplane at the Nats because of that.
Well, I think it also depends on what epoxy you use putting them together.
Yeah.
Whoever put them together, you got them from Tom Morris. That's why he quit selling them. I'll use these.
Yeah, I've got one just like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I do too. A nice
it.
gentleman gave me that at the Worlds.
Yeah,
Dan Winship gave me one of those. I think they're awesome.
I got the mold to make them.
Do you? Okay.
Oh yeah.
I bet you could hang on that 100 pounds and it wouldn't break. Is what I think. I'd
Yeah.
like to test one just to see.
I bet you're right.
Well, the lines will break before the bell crank breaks.
I think so too.
Danny he crimps the ends. He doesn't wind the ends. He's got a crimper. And the lines break before the crimp breaks. The lead out.
That's hard to believe.
It is.
Where the hell's my mold?
I don't know. Showed up missing.
Yeah, it's around here somewhere. I'm gonna make a few of them up before Brodax, see if I can sell them.
Brodak's 6 weeks out of thereabouts, I think.
Yep.
I'm ready to go. I want to go play.
How much are those things going to sell for, Sparky?
$25.
Throw one in my box.
You better bring lots of money.
I'm bringing. I am. You're not the only one I'm coming to see.
Money talks.
But now I won't be there till Monday. Y'all show up on Friday, and I ain't gonna be there till Monday.
I'll be there Saturday at noon, 1
Yeah.
o'clock.
I'll be there Monday. I've got a Project Healing Waters group that I'm promised to take out on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm gonna do that. Those guys deserve it.
I'll pull in Friday, probably 5, 6 o'clock, Friday night.
Well, get your spot, and I'll get mine next to you.
I've been there for how many years? I'll be there.
I don't know how
I'm
many
in the
years.
same place. Sparky's always dead on the end by the tree.
I'm next to Sparky. That's my spot. Me or Tim, one of the two. We got a group of us up there. John Saunders got to be down the way. He's got his same spot forever.
Well, you can come as long as you bring that pretty little lady with you.
They
But I
took
mean, the
his Joe.
emphasis on lady.
Yeah. Say again, Sparky.
They took his tree away.
I always called that Jack Sheik's tree. That's where Jack was, by the tree on one side. John was on the other.
Huh. They cut the tree down?
Yeah, they cut up. It's a evergreen of some sort. I don't spruce.
Oh yeah, it was a cedar.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cut
And
the
then
cedar tree down.
Phelps were down there by that too all the time.
Yeah, I'm
Jerry
kinda
and
glad they
Larry
did
were
cut
down
that
there all
thing
the
down.
time.
Yeah. I miss Jerry.
Good people, man.
Yeah, he was. Jerry was the only guy I ever bought anything from. Looked like he put as much care and as much thought in the box that he handmade to ship your propellers in as he did in building the propellers. And the propellers were dead on perfect.
That boy can bake a pie too. Let me advise you of that. Woo-hoo.
Oh, I'm aware. Yeah, I know it.
You see the box the pies came in?
Yes, I did. I have. Yes, I have.
Well, I'm telling you what, it was hard to judge Jerry because I don't know how else to say it. He flew backwards. So him and I forgot the guy's name, flew the ringmaster that flew clockwise.
Rick Gackabone,
Yeah, and one other guy.
George Aldrich.
We had 3 people on that circle that flew clockwise. And I'd never judged anybody going clockwise before. So I had to walk out there and ask them, would somebody put up a practice flight so I can just get it in my head how this is supposed to look before we start judging it? And Jerry was more than willing to do it. He went out and put up a flight, and I thought, well, actually, it's not as bad as I thought it was. It's
Looked
still,
exactly the same, only upside down.
yeah, just crisp maneuvers. Yeah. That man could fly. Whew. Mary's not a bad pilot either when she tries. Okay.
Mortar Mary. You remember?
I don't feel any better either.
You know the story on Mortar Mary? They bricked their house. She mixed the mortar, and he laid the bricks. So he called her Mortar Mary.
Oh, Lord. Make that woman mad. You're liable to end up in the mortar.
I think they They did well together for decades.
Yeah. I don't think he could ever tell her no on anything, and I don't think she ever told him no.
Probably not.
They were a great couple.
For sure.
Oh me. Well, guys, I got to get out here and go eat, and I'm feeling like something the dog wouldn't play with. We just got in last night late from Albuquerque, and I guess it's jet lag. I don't know what it is, but I am so out of it. I can hardly. I went to walk the dog, and it's not, but it's a half a mile around the circle. God, I thought I was running a marathon.
You got the crud.
I don't know what. I got allergies. Everybody around here's got the allergies now.
But there's green stuff in the air all over the world.
Boy, you ain't kidding.
Green stuff all over the world.
We washed our cars, all three of them, before we left, and the next morning everything was yellow.
It's unbelievable.
And then we went to Albuquerque for 3 days, and my daughter and her boyfriend decided to spray the cars off for us while I was gone. We get home and everything is, you're right, green this time. It's got more green to it than it does yellow, but it's just nasty, and boy, it'll tear your sinuses up. But anyway, y'all have a great one. See you Friday. If I don't see you tonight, I'll see you Friday. I may give up and go to bed here in a few minutes. Yes, sir. Y'all have a great one. Take care of yourselves.
Okay, see Phil.
Okay, Bob, I got some answers.
Okay.
The wire, $1.95 for a foot.
$2 a foot. Okay.
This is the spinner I have, spinners, but I'm afraid those are reverse pitch.
So you run a reverse pitch prop. You got one?
Well, I don't know if I don't know how to tell.
Well,
put a prop in that.
Put a prop in it. Yeah, I know. I got to take it apart to do that.
let me look at it. That's the right way.
Make it big
or counterclockwise.
That should
And
be
this
correct.
is what the
round part should be up.
This is what the back looks like.
No, that won't work. Got to be a flat back plate.
Well, it is flat inside.
You see it, yeah, but it's recessed way back in there. It'll rub the nose ring. You don't have a whole lot of purchase on that motor.
Yeah.
On the shaft.
So what's the spinner for? Is it for the one you're building there, Robert?
No, it's for his airplane.
Crossfire.
Crossfire electric.
So is it already built?
Yeah.
And that's a 2-inch spinner?
This is 44 millimeters.
1 3/4 inches.
Yeah, I think that's 1 3/4 inches.
50's 2 or thereabouts.
52 is, well, I don't know.
I think 50's awful close. That's what Pablo makes anyhow.
That's a Tom Morris spinner. That will not work.
It's an MPI spinner.
Okay, well, Tom Morris was selling them.
Chuck it up and grind. Chuck it up and cut the flange off.
I don't have a lathe.
Me neither.
Yeah, I guess all of the MPI spinners are like that. Let's see. Jonathan had a question, I think, while I was looking for stuff.
Oh, yeah. Steve, you're going to be running some sort of tutorial stuff for judging?
Yeah, I'm doing well, I've been doing it here in the States, and I at the Worlds I met a lady from New Zealand.
Yeah, Karen.
She was with her husband, and she wanted to go through the training.
Yeah.
So what I have to do for her is point out the differences in the FAI rules versus the AMA rules as far as the maneuver description. And I got that scheduled with them. Let's see. Well, with her.
Did they have any of those pieces that you put on the tape?
No, but he gave me a lead on those. Those come from MPI as well.
Okay.
So I took a picture of the website and I'll order them. Let's see. Where is my
Better get after it if you want to fly this thing this week.
calendar? Yeah, this week does not look good for flying, actually.
It'll be storming here. Steve,
Yeah,
we had a little discussion about the landing. And they said the landing starts when the airplane leaves 5 foot and starts descending. I
It
said,
does not.
no, it
No.
starts wherever you are and you start. When it starts descending, you start judging. What
The
it
height,
says right here.
the
Yeah,
height and the engine running are not in the rules.
That's right. It says entry when the model starts descent from level 5. It
Right.
doesn't say normal level or 5 foot
No.
level or 8 foot level. If you're
Right.
level at 45 and it quits, you're on the ticker right there, dude, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. When the
Let's
model
see.
leaves descent entry, height at the beginning of its engine out landing glide. So if somebody wants to do it from 4 feet, 5 feet, 8 feet, or 20 feet,
It's got to be
judging
smooth.
starts when the aircraft starts the descent.
It's AMA, right?
AMA. Right.
AMA, yeah.
Now, FAI is different. But the AMA, I was right on that. I said, no, I disagree with your statement. It doesn't start at 5 foot or tall. It starts whenever it starts down from wherever it is. We agree. I'm glad.
So, Joe, what does it say about FAI landings?
The FAI starts at 5 foot or 6 foot or whatever. I think it's really 6 technically.
3 to 7 meters or 3 to 6 meters.
3 to 6. And you could be at 45 at an engine quit and dive. And when you pop it level at 5 feet, that's when then you got to go one lap from there technically to touch down for the perfect landing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Technically. But I find that when I was playing the game, I'd like to be whipping when it quit. And you could make the one lap. You're better off if you're doing this. You're giving more of the weight you are just make a descent and land in 3/4 a lap if that's what it is.
Yeah, I think that could be clarified, and I was thinking about maybe putting in a rules change proposal, and I got sick and missed the deadline, so I didn't.
Well, I don't
So
think it matters really, but
now I got to wait 2 years.
you know,
Okay, Jonathan,
Yeah.
I am doing Saturday, May 10th.
Yep.
4 o'clock my time, which I think is the next morning for you.
Yep.
Could be yesterday there.
No, it is the next day. Karen and I did figure that out.
No, it's what's his name on yesterday from Winnebago.
So you go Saturday 10th. What time?
Saturday the 10th for me is, I think, is Sunday morning for you.
Sunday the 11th for us.
11th, yeah.
And what time?
Well, it's 4 p.m. my time. I had it figured out at some point.
I think it's about 7 hours difference.
Yeah. Karen and I figured it out. Let's see. Do I have
2 o'clock, 4, 11 o'clock in the morning, maybe.
4 p.m. your time. That'll be pretty early here.
5 o'clock a.m.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No. It's either
I can ring Kevin. And Kevin and Karen Barnes and find out. Come on the same time. I'll give him a ring.
That would be, that'd be fine. And I can send you the invite.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
I think she said, yeah, here it is. I found the email. She said 9 a.m. Sunday the 11th.
Sounds right.
Would calculate at 4 p.m. Saturday the 10th for me.
Okay, that's all right. That's okay.
Are you in the same time zone?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know if does New Zealand have more than one time zone?
No, we just got one because we're long and skinny.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead and send you the invite when I send her the invite.
Okay.
Be
Great.
next week sometime.
That would be good.
All right. Yeah.
I watched a documentary on not the movie, the documentary on your fellow countryman Burt. Not Burt Rattan.
Burt Munro.
Burt Munro. He was a character.
He's a character.
All that shit in the movies was true that he did.
Oh yeah, yeah. Basically, that all happened. All that stuff. Even the small, the small talk and things like that, with him getting his tires and being turned down and all that stuff. It was all true.
They showed his workshop. It was nothing more than a shack, a shed.
Yeah, just a concrete block shed, cinder block shed, garage.
I didn't believe that he got stopped by the Nevada Highway Patrol at 160 or 170, and the Highway Patrol. I said, "What are you doing?" But at that time in Vegas, you could go as fast, or in Nevada, you could go as fast as it was safe.
Yeah.
No speed limit.
Yeah.
I remember those days, Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was coming back to Utah, going through Nevada on my honeymoon. This is back in 1962. I passed a highway patrol going the opposite direction. And I seen Flippy Huey, and he says, "Do you know how fast you're going?" I says, "Yes." He says, "Well, why don't you slow it down a little bit?" And he let me go.
Well, I remember those days because I took my dad's 1974 Cadillac with my mom in the back seat and my dad in the front seat and drove it up 15. I know I was way over 100 miles an hour.
Oh my goodness.
Fast did it go? He wanted to see how fast did it go.
Yeah, I was only going about 80, on a 54 Chevy 6-cylinder.
That's pretty fast for a 54 Chevy. If you hit something going 160, a bunny rabbit ain't going to be good for you.
Yeah. I know.
Those new Vets and some of those cars, they claim will go that fast.
Oh, they will.
That's smoking.
The new Corvette, I think they said do 205 or something like that.
Not with me in it.
There was an accident reported in St. Louis area on the highway, and the explanation or the headline of the story was a Corvette, a Lamborghini, and a Charger were involved in a multi-car accident. Yeah,
Wow.
but they were racing.
Got on 270?
I think it was on 64 West down in the valley.
Man, that's a shit road.
Out in Chesterfield, it's flat. In between that hill and the bridge,
airport?
it's flat.
Huh.
Any survivors?
I don't remember. I think it was too early for them to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was 16 years old, my oldest brother was drag racing on State Street, and the car he's drag racing kind of clipped him in the quarter panel, and he swerved to the right and hit a parked car doing over 100.
Oh,
He went end around end for almost a block and slid up and hit one of those steel utility poles.
That's not good.
Right there in front, just in front of the driver's door. And it threw him out of the car, and he went about, from what I could gather, probably 15 to 20 feet. But he hit his head right on his temple, and it killed him. He hit that pull so hard that his shoes were still on the car on the driver's side.
Oh my goodness.
Good Lord.
Yeah, he's 20 years old.
Good Lord.
That was your brother?
Yeah, he's my oldest brother.
Mm.
Yeah, and we were really close. He used to let me take his 58 Impala if it had a prom night. And at that time, I was driving an old 49 Plymouth. 49, yeah, 49 Plymouth. It had several different colors from putting parts on it. And he'd call me up. He says, "Come down and get my car. You can take it to the prom." And the funny part, I didn't know, and I finally found out after borrowing it several times, not borrowing, he let me take it, that he was putting a stop under the throttle so it wouldn't open the secondaries.
Smart
So
boy.
he wanted to make sure I wasn't drag racing with it.
That was a cool car. 2-door,
Yep, two-door Impala.
hardtop.
Yep, 58.
Let me guess what color, red and white.
No, it was black.
Oh. Those are cool cars.
Yeah, my dad wanted to know they was going to rebuild the car, and my brother and I both told me they didn't want it, so they let it go for salvage. And then about a year later, I was in the hobby shop and always carried his key in my pocket that had his initial on it. And I looked out and I was telling Cliff, his dad owned the hobby shop, and I said, "Cliff, that looks like Kenny's car out there, doesn't it?" And he had painted the rims red instead of silver and heated up the exhaust pipes and made them go out the back. And I said, "I'm going to go out and check it." So I walked around. The interior was like his. And so I stuck the key in the trunk and it opened the trunk. And it was his car.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, Gordon, there was only 3 keys that fit all them cars in those years. It could have fit anybody's car.
Yeah, but this had the painted rims like he had done it, and the exhaust had been turned. To have that happen would be probably 1 in a million. So anyway, the
Wow.
guy that owned it worked next door to the hobby shop.
Bob, can you allow me to share something? I'll show you those Dean's parts that I found.
Are they smooth?
Are they smooth?
Yeah, go ahead and share. Yeah, because if you remember, the Dean's connectors I had are them Chinese ones that are rough.
Can you see this?
Yeah, the top right.
No, that they're all the same.
Okay,
They're just showing them rotated, but that's the right ones, right?
right.
So what are
Okay.
we looking at? What are we looking at here?
They're called 2818 Dean's Ultra Solder Couplers.
And how much did they go for?
$4.99 for 10 of them.
There you go. Hey, get them.
So what do
All
you
right, I will get them.
you hook that to a soldering iron or what?
No, you solder your wire into the end of it, and then let me show you. I don't have them here, but I'll show you what they do. Let's see here. Spotlight for everyone. You solder it on your wire, and the post that's sticking out of a Dean's connector, it goes on like that. It just clips over the top of it so that it takes just a drop of solder. What I found with Dean's connectors is when you try to solder the wire on there, I always get them too hot and melt the Dean's connectors. So I got them ends, and they just clip on there, and then a drop of solder, and you're done.
Oh, yeah, I haven't heard of those before.
But I know that there's some guys that are good solderers that have the right, soldering station with a pencil soldering gun that can do it without that. But all I got's mechanic stuff.
Yeah, I've got 3 different irons and then 1 soldering gun. The soldering gun is from the mid 50s.
Weller,
And yes,
240 volt, 240 watt, the big one.
it's the big one.
Yeah.
Anyway, had it on the bench and went step over and stepped on the cord and
It's
flipped
done.
it off and it hit that floor. And
Bakelite.
I tried to epoxy parts of it back together. It still works. It's just I felt bad because kept it all these years without hurting it. And when you get older, you get stupid when you get older.
A guy at work, I left my soldering gun at home. I said, "Hey, Dave, can I borrow your soldering iron?" He said, "Yeah, don't break it." I said, "Oh, I won't." And that's exactly what happened. It had the wire hanging down off my bench. Tripped over that wire, it flipped off there, and it made a bakelite, and it went into 10,000 pieces. I had to buy him a new soldering gun.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they make that big gun anymore or not.
I haven't seen one in a long time.
I tell you, it's soldered a lot of controls and a lot of gas tanks over the last 50, 60 years.
It will solder gas tanks. It'll heat that tin real good.
Yeah, I've changed the tip on it probably 3 times, and I found a place there at the old Radio Shack, and so I bought 3 of them to make sure I didn't have to hunt for them again.
Where's the Radio Shack now? Because I don't know of any Radio Shack.
Well, they closed up here about 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen one since.
You remember back when you were a kid that you could find television tubes in the grocery store? They had a tube tester.
Yes, I do remember.
Well, somebody gave me an old, TV, and it didn't work. It kept rolling, kept flipping. I said, okay, I know what's wrong with it. We'll just take the tubes out. I marked all the tubes and put them in a bag and drove all the way to Indio. And I said, hey, I walked in the grocery store. I said, where's your TV tube tester? The guy looked at me like I was on another planet. He said, we don't have that. We haven't had that in 20 years. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen one in years and years. That was something
40.
I forgot about that until you reminded me about that. I remember taking tubes out and going over and testing them.
I also asked in the grocery store, hey, where's the TSP? They go, what's that? I said, trisodium phosphate. Oh, you can't get that here. You got to go to the hardware store to get that. I said, you got to go to the hardware store to get soap? Give me a break. He was right. They sell it at Lowe's, but they don't sell it in the grocery store no more.
Yeah, I went to the hobby shop here about 5 or 6 years ago. It changed hands. And I went in and asked him, do you have any Ambroid? And he says, what's that?
Yeah.
It's glue. No, we don't stock that.
Try to get yellow label Revell.
What's that?
Try to get yellow label Revell plastic glue and see what you get. You ain't getting it.
Oh, no. The hobby shop that I talked about earlier was called Keith's Hobby House, and kids would buy the plastic glue to get high on.
Yeah.
So Julia, she run the upstairs, and Keith run the trains downstairs. And so if they wanted to buy glue, she made them have to. If you want glue, you got to buy a kit.
They do make that big soldering gun.
What's that?
They do make that big soldering gun. Still.
Well, it's a Weller.
Yeah, they still make it. It's the 260 is $60 sold at Ace Hardware. The 300 is sold at Granger for $152.
Wow. Would be nice if I just buy a case for it and unbolt it and put a new case on it.
Well, Wright Weller, where are they made out of now? China?
I have no idea.
I think that was
Yeah.
an American company.
Yeah, the three of us, the three brothers, myself and my other two brothers, went in together and bought the soldering iron for my dad for a Christmas present. And then when I got married, I was building, and I always asked if I could borrow it. And finally, he says, "You need it more than I do. Why don't you just keep it?" So that's how I ended up with this gun.
Is that one of those Bakelite case ones that are brittle?
Yep.
Yep. Oh man. They don't hit the floor but one time and they're doomed.
Well, the hard part was trying to find all the pieces so I could,
But they blow up like glass.
I used JB weld and got most of it put back together.
Here's another good soldering gun that I got. It's called a Wall, 1864.
I've never seen that one. I got a little Wellers.
Can we see that again, Robert?
Yeah, this is a Wall. Let me make it big. Spotlight for everyone. God, I wish I could find that. There we go.
Is that got a dual trigger for medium or is it just a single heat?
No, 150, 400. I don't like these tips though. You can't find them.
Yeah, mine's got the copper tips. It's a loop.
Yours is like only the next size bigger.
I think I have a monkey warbler that looks like a Bakelite type. I don't know that one either.
This is an orange one. I think this is plastic. I don't think it's Bakelite. I got a black one down there too.
Yep.
This is the Weller 100 watt. But that one Gordon's talking about will melt the Dean's plug in a heartbeat.
Oh, it gets hot in a hurry.
Dang right.
I liked it because I could, when I build my tanks, you just kind of walk it across the ends with your solder and it just flow so nice into the joint. I bought one that was butane that it was more like a big pen in case I had problems out of the contest. Well, I got it and tried to solder just little Mickey Mouse stuff, and the thing wouldn't get hot enough to melt it. It'd melt and you just have a puddle. You couldn't get it to flow. So it went in the drawer, and that's where it stayed. What you eating there, Joe?
A
Breakfast?
bowl of soup.
Oh,
Supper.
soup.
Bowl of soup. Colee's at Bunko. She's gambling tonight at Bunko.
I got some ribs in there waiting for me to go eat.
I've trade.
Oh, my wife really does a good job on these. They're just, the meat falls right off the bone.
Mark, did you make any more progress on your airplanes?
Yeah,
Is the Thunderbird ready?
the Thunderbird.
Yeah. You did it at Tucson, I guess, didn't you?
Yeah,
It's ready.
Let's see the Bearcat.
Mark, how's your new airplane? Are you done with it?
no, there it is.
Well, what have you been waiting on?
Oh, there's other things in life besides model airplanes.
No. Really?
Anyway, I've been filling in the dings and dents in places, getting ready to put the finishing resin on it. And
So tell me how you do that.
how I do what?
The finishing resin. Do you put glass cloths on it too, or just resin?
No, just resin. I'll get to that in a minute. So I've been using this Elmer's wood filler, and I found out the latest can I opened, it came out pink instead of natural wood. And then
Huh.
I read up on it and I found out that it changes color when it dries. I don't know why they did that. I guess to show you when it's dry. And I tried it, and sure enough, it worked.
Sure looks good.
And I sanded it out, and everything was fine until I put a coat of finishing resin on it.
What happened?
It turned purple.
Oh,
Well,
So the moral of the story is this is bad stuff. It says color change on it. I don't like that anymore.
I warned you.
And the kind that just says plain old interior is what works for me. So anyway, under the finishing resin garden, I've got 2 coats on it now. And I just, sand the wood and then put finishing resin on it and take a heat gun and paper towels and wick it back off as good as I can.
Is that Z-Epoxy?
Yeah, Z-Epoxy.
so what do you use what's the heat gun for again, Mark?
Get thin.
It makes the finishing resin thin out like water.
Oh yeah,
You
okay.
soak it up in a paper towel. It also
So
helps it penetrate the balsa a little bit, I think.
So
you-
you put it
Yeah,
on the raw
much-
balsa.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Kevin Daly's finishing schedule. He published it in Model Aviation about 3-4 years ago. He uses it on his airplanes, what's he call them? The high voltage or the
Oh yeah.
oh, Joe Daly?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, high voltage. That's right.
High voltage, yeah. And I called him, or I emailed him before I started him. That's for the first Bearcat, because I couldn't believe he didn't put any tissue paper down or anything. And I said, "Is that really true? You just go with the rear balsa?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "No tissue or carbon fiber veil or anything required." So I did that, and it worked out fine. And I'm doing it again. So
Oh, and you don't put any tissue or anything over it, huh?
no.
No.
You do that. You do 3 coats of the resin, and
Go
use the
straight
heat gun-
primer.
heat gun each time and wick it off, and then you go to the primer.
All right.
And I use the class. This is all class coat. I use the class coat primer, the gray primer that they make.
Yeah.
So that's where I got 1 more coat to go with the resin, then I can go to the primer. I think I ended up with like 3 coats of primer. You spray it on, same deal. You sand it off and see what you got. Bad
So-
spots, you try to fill them in and get it nice and smooth.
Mark, did you weigh the airplane dry before you started the epoxy and weigh it afterwards to see how much you gained that way?
I waited before I started the epoxy. I haven't finished the epoxy and haven't tried to weigh it. That's a good idea, but I have to put the motor back in.
Yeah, I just wondered how much weight you pick up. Doing balsa wood, you're going to have 10, 12 coats on there, to get your wood filled and all that.
Yeah, Joe was claiming he did his high voltage with, what do you say, some ridiculous number, like 6 or 8 ounce finish.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's what he said in the article. My first Bearcat, it was about 50 ounces bare, and it was about 62 ounces after the finish. I think the finish was more like 12 ounces.
That's what mine usually is around 12 ounces.
But the Bearcat's got a lot of surface area.
It's a big fuselage.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. I think this purple is going to be fine because It's going to be under 3 coats of resin and probably 3 coats of primer.
It'll cover.
And then the plane's going to be navy blue, so I don't think it'll be a problem with the finish. But if I was going to go for a white finish, I'd be kind of worried, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So my next step after the resin before I put on the primer is to take that blue stuff that Howard doesn't like
Good
and
stuff.
do the fillets.
No, that's,
Are you talking about class coat?
No,
Super fill. Super fill.
Super fill.
The super fill you get from Aircraft Spruce.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Howard has a problem with that stuff, so he didn't like to use it, but
Good stuff.
works okay for me.
Yeah, everybody else likes it.
Anyway, that's what I've been working on the last week or so.
Well, I can tell you this, Howard. Compared to epoxylite, it's wonderful.
I like epoxylite.
You did?
Yeah, you gotta nuke it in the microwave to dissolve.
Oh yeah, I know.
After.
Yeah, I know.
Can you still get epoxylite?
I don't know. Haven't tried since the 90s, so I don't know. But if you don't get after it sanding as soon as it starts to set up, you're in deep shit. It's hard stuff.
It's horrible. That's why I like my leather fillets. I've never built a stunt ship without leather fillets in 50 years.
Is that right, Gordy? There, every one of them, huh?
Every stunt ship I own has got leather fillets in it.
I suspect he knows how.
I'll bet.
And that's why I like the Ambroid.
Yeah,
You know,
what are you gonna do without Ambroid? Duco?
well, Duco would probably work, but the Ambroid was really runny, and so it really soaks into the leather. If you try to take leather off, it'll rip all the wood with it. And, I can do the bottom of the stab and the bottom of the wing in about, 20 minutes. And then the next day I turn it over and I cut the lines and do the top of everything. So it's basically a 2-day process, but you're not spending a lot of time doing it. And then I get some real coarse sandpaper, knock that glaze that they have on it rough and takes it off and makes it kind of a light brown. And the dope sticks really good to it.
I haven't seen that leather fillets that I had in a while. I might have gave them to somebody at Brodak, but I'll look around. And if I got them, you could have them. I think I gave them away, though, now that I remember.
Yeah, I bought all different sizes, and it seems like I'm always using the same size. The last airplane, my Heinz 57, I finally ran out of the size I like to use. I got some smaller stuff I use for the stab, and then I have some bigger stuff I used on my Tony.
This was about 3/8 of an inch wide.
Yep, perfect size.
Bill Suarez gave me the stuff.
Years ago, Ed Southwick knew I was using leather, and he called me. He says, "Can you still give me some leather fillets?" And I went down and checked, and I called him back, and I says, "They won't sell them individual like I used to buy them. You got to buy the whole pack." And he says, "Well, why don't we split a pack?" And so I said, "That'll work." So I took half and sent him the other half. And I finally used all that up. But that was a half inch, not 3/8. If you measure straight across.
Right.
And I have all different size balls to push that in the corner to make that nice radius.
Thanks to Jim Lee.
No, this is long before Jim Lee was even around.
I got a set of them balls from Jim Lee. for pushing them down?
Yeah, I bought a set from him, but I was using other stuff prior to that. So, in fact, I used the Jim Lee balls on the last leather job I did on this Heinz 57. So,
Sure
I need to
seems,
get.
it seems a shame that all that old craftsmanship and technology is going to go away.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got two Heinz 57 units. One I designed in 1963, and my friend that died, he had one ready to paint, and so I've got that one. I've got mine that needs a little more sanding on it. We thought it was ready, and then something happened on the masking job, and my buddy Bart sanded about 10 holes through the ribs. So,
Must be an I-beam.
no, it's D-tube.
How the hell you sand holes through the ribs?
Well, at the edge of cap strip.
Didn't round them over?
Well, instead of sanding with them and not pushing hard,
Oh,
Yeah.
then he put these little tiny 1/8 inch strips of Jap tissue over them. And I started laughing. He said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "As soon as that dope shrinks and it hits the sun, that Jap tissue is just going to split." And Roger Kramer come out and he said, "Well, why don't we just cover the whole open base with Jap tissue then?" So that's what we did. I got Jap tissue over the whole thing. And I kind of got discouraged, so and I keep looking at it every day. It's been on paint stand over 5 years. And the guy that built the other Heinz, he did a beautiful job on it. You know, it was originally built out of a Nobler wing. And I didn't copy him off plans, but it's shaped like a Thunderbird. And it's got curves, so it's straight leading edge, Thunderbird type tips, and on the flaps. And I extended the stab by moving the blocks out so I could sand the radius to make it look kind of elliptical. And on the original, the trailing edge where I sanded out there at the tip is only an 1/8 inch wide. And I thought, oh man, I don't think that's going to be strong enough. But when I covered it and doped it, it was plenty stiff. So anyway, that's a long story. We won't get into it.
It's surprising how much strength the covering gives a wing.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And this was on a stab. You know, I thought the elevator would be too flimsy, but when I got it covered and doped, it felt plenty stiff. Never had a problem with it. And when I had John drop the plans for it, he drew it in like it's to allow for that deal.
Ray Perkins got a real nice one.
Yes, he does. He's done very well with it.
You guys see the pictures? I know Howard has, but he's probably seen the plane. You guys see the pictures of Paul Walker's bomber airplane he's building electric?
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at the leading edge of that rudder. I'm thinking, God, I hope he doesn't bump into something.
Yeah, he made this one, I hear, a little bit smaller. Is that right, Howard?
Yeah.
But if you look at the leading edge, it's awful thin. I mean, it looks like it's 3/16 of an inch. I know he's trying to save weight back there, but man, don't bump it.
Well, it'll probably be pretty spectacular.
I'm sure it will be.
Oh man, I'm sure. He patterned it off a famous airplane.
Yeah. I'm wondering if he's probably going to run them all on one battery, I imagine.
I don't.
Do you know, Howard?
I think so.
What size battery? Car battery?
I don't.
if you read the thread on Stunt Hangar, I think he answers that. I think he's trying to use one 4S battery.
Oh, because the motor got like.
I don't know why, but that's what he said.
It's hard to get little motors with AV. They're
Yeah.
made for fewer cells.
So, Howard, are these electrics about the power of a regular IC 15?
I don't know. He had 15s in there, and it's quite a bit bigger, I think.
Yeah, he had what? FP 15s, didn't he?
Yeah, you know about them.
Oh yeah.
So-
Well, you got a pair of them.
I went to a contest one time at the Northwest Regionals, and Paul was first with a B-17, and Gordy was second with a twin. And it looked like the more inches you have, the better off you are.
Yeah, I was running a pair of OS 35s.
2 bits?
What's that?
Was it 2 bits? Which airplane?
Yeah, it was the Gemini.
Gemini.
Yeah, that was a modernized of the old Too Much.
Okay.
So how big a motor can you have in stunt?
I think it's 75, isn't it?
90.
75 or 80.
I thought it was 90.
I thought it was 90.
I think you're right because at the Nats, the one year, I had my Sato 82 in mind. So you're right.
I think it's 90.
So I couldn't build one with 2 Super Tiger 60s on it.
I don't think so.
You can, yes, you can. You just might not can fly it at the Nats. But you can build that rascal. Bring it to Tulsa. I'll launch it for you. And then get behind the car.
That sounds good.
You know, a guy, I can't remember his name, in California asked me if I'd fly his twin he just built. And he had 2 FP 35s on it. And it weighed, I think he said 130 ounces.
No is the proper answer.
And I told him I would not fly it. I think he finally got somebody to fly it for him. And he says it pulled so hard you couldn't stand to fly it.
I bet.
Yeah.
Mine pulled a lot.
Item 2 in control line precision aerobatics rules. Piston engines shall be subject to a total swept volume limitation of 15 cc's, parentheses, 0.92 cubic inches.
Yep.
Ooh, we can use gas turbine engines.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's ever done that.
No.
Well, what you need to do is you need to run that gas turbine on a monoline, and then you can collect the what is it, $5,000 award for doing a stunt pattern and winning with a monoline.
Who made that bet?
Danzel.
And probably.
Have I seen on YouTube some guy flying a stunt model in America with a pulse jet?
Yes.
Yeah, Dan Banjock.
Banjock and
Dan
Mike Palco both had it.
Done that at Brodax.
Formation aerobatics with them.
Right. Yeah.
I remember one year in Buckeye in the 60s, 2 guys, father and son, showed up with jet-powered stunt ships. It had the old, what was it, pulse jet or something, what are they called? And profile fuselage. And they'd fly the pattern, but boy, I tell you, noisy. You know,
Yeah.
they didn't fly it in competition. It was mainly for demos.
Men run to them, the women and children run away.
I think Van Jock's jet uses about a quart of fuel.
I thought
it
it was,
doesn't-
yes, I think they're a little better, but it's a huge tank.
About a quart, maybe just a little over a quart, and it won't finish the pattern.
No. Well, I don't think it'd do a square 8.
No, he doesn't do,
He does lazy 8s, vertical 8s.
right. Yeah, he doesn't do
carried away with
all the
triangles and
maneuvers.
hourglasses and stuff. The gas tank it's huge. It's a square.
Yeah.
Gosh. He and Mike had 2 of them, and they chased each other around and did loops and stuff.
Has anybody seen the old what was it? I think he called it some kind of a sweeper from
Wendy
Wendy
Jarnowski.
Sweeper.
I saw that fly 3 years ago at Brodex. They asked me if I wanted to fly it, and I said, no, sir. There ain't no way I'm flying that. It hadn't been flown in years in the tank, but they cleaned the tank and somebody flew it, but it wasn't going to be me. I ain't sticking my neck out in that deal.
Would it do a full pattern?
Oh, I think it would. That great big
Yeah.
airplane, yes. I don't think they did that day, but I'm sure it would.
Wasn't it Derek? Wasn't it Derek Berry?
I think it was 1,200 square inches or something like
I
that.
think it is huge.
I think Wendy made the top 5 with it, a sweeper.
I think he did too.
Well, that
Yeah,
was
I think
his.
I think I saw a video of Derek flying it.
Derek flew it one time years ago too. It had a
Yeah.
Tiger 60 in it, didn't it, Robert?
Yes.
Yeah. Super
Initially,
Tigers.
yeah.
The one I saw fly it's hanging up in the hobby shop, I'm sure. Dark purple, blue airplane, bluish purple. There's a lot of boss in that rascal.
Derek's was
Mhm.
red.
Okay.
Well, the original one was blue. Wendy's was blue.
Yeah. Mark's original blue and white twin was 1,024 squares. And when I did mine was supposed to be like his, but I ended up with 960 squares.
It's just that's a big airplane to wrestle, Gordy.
Yeah, especially at my age. There's no way I'd fly it.
It's too big to wrestle.
Well,
And
I gave it to what's his name up there in Canada?
Bruce Perry.
Bruce Perry. He wanted to know if I'd sell it. And I said, Bruce, if you come down and visit with me for 3 days, I'll give it to you.
Oh my gosh.
He called back about a day or two later. Gordy, we're coming down this weekend. He brought Ken with him. And then Jim Aaron heard he was coming up. Jim Aaron says, well, if he's coming up, coming down, I'm coming up. So I says, well, you might have to sleep on the floor. So we had Jim Aaron and Bruce and Ken all here.
I should have been there.
That'd have been good.
Yes, that would have been perfect. So anyway, he took it home and he checked one of the tanks. Couldn't believe it. Where I'd soldered one of the fittings had completely rusted out. I probably didn't clean the flex off it or something. So anyway, he put plastic tanks in it and a pair of Aero Tiger 30s. No, that one he run the OS 35S's on it. And I got a video of him flying it up there. So, and I had a winning streak there with my Colossus in California. And Ray Ferkins had never seen the twin fly, and he wanted me to bring it down. And I says, well, I kind of got something going. If I win this one, I would have won all the California contests for 1 year. And Sandy heard me. He says, oh, you don't need to win. You take that twin down. So I took it down. One engine was always weak for some reason. And John Miller had already flown. I says, "Hey, John, can I borrow your OS?" And he said, "Yeah." So he yanked it out of his airplane. I pulled the spray bar and Venturi out and put mine in there. So it was a match set. Those two engines ran absolutely flawless. And we spent a lot of time setting needles the first flight. And I was doing my overhead 8 and both engines just shut off. Boom. And you hear everybody go, "Oh!" I finished the loop and came out of the wing over and pulled out at shoulder height. And and finally I let Ray Firkins fly it. And then the next day we flew expert, and I was in like 7th place after first round. And I was getting ready to start up for my second flight. And Ray says, "Remember what Bart says?" And I said, "What's that?" He says, "Become one with the airplane, but in your case, you need to become two with your airplane." And I think it took the edge off. We both started laughing, took off, and I ended up winning with the twin by a 1.5.
Outstanding.
And when I landed, everybody gave me an applause. It was probably the best flight I'd ever flown with it. And Bart was one of the judges. And when he found out I won it, he says, "Boy, that judge must have really bloomed the scores." And I said, "Tim Meeks went up 2 points and you came up 30. Oh.
What did Howard Rush tell me one time? If you want a better score, fly better stunt.
Do what?
We were in a group of people and somebody was fussed about a judge, and Howard said, "If you want a better score, fly better stunt."
Oh, that's true.
That's it. It's simple.
Yep.
You flew good stunt.
And, it was pretty impressive, especially with John's motor. I hated to have to give it back to him. So.
Well, guys, I better hit the road.
Yeah, me
Take
too.
care, John.
I got to go eat my dinner.
Did you guys see the ad on Stunt Hangar for K&S Metals dropping their price on May 5th to 40% off? But if you type in Stunt 10 at checkout, you get an extra 10 off.
Wow.
Nice. Nice.
So that's
That'd be
50% off.
Sparky, I wrote your stuff down here with a note. Look for Rossi or Nelson for you.
All right.
And I'll get a hold of you. Do me a favor too. Put something up there on your phone number so I can call you.
Let me send it to you right now.
Yeah, send that up before I leave. That's a heck of a project you're doing.
It is.
Okay, I sent it to you. Hopefully you can find the Nelson. That'd be faster.
I sent him one. He's got one.
Let's see. Nope.
Well, the message is chat. Hit the chat button at the bottom.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
The Nelson would be faster, I'm sure, because Henry breathes on that stuff pretty hard.
Yeah.
Bob Whitney might be an option for that too, Robert. Down in Florida.
Yeah, where Mike sent me to buy a 4, but I can't afford one.
Okay.
True.
Gordon sent me a motor at the price I can afford.
I understand.
Okay, I got it. You guys have a good night. I'm gonna go eat something.
Hey,
All right,
take care,
Gordy.
Gordy.
All
See you
right.
later, Gordy.
You guys have a good night.
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 See ya.
Oh, Joe,
Yes, yes.
here's the filler thing for the reel. I'll send that to you.
I see.
Wow,
It,
not that
it
long.
plugs in there, and then it's easier to wind up. I'll send you a winder too.
I sure am proud of this. I think this is neater than heck. My name's on it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you
Hold it up, Joe. Let's see it. Hold on. Let me spotlight you.
That's your left-handed one?
yeah, left-handed now. We'll fix it though.
Man, that's cool. That is really nice.
It's got little
Yeah.
it's got little spikes on it. See the curvy one? That's where you'd put your hooks, then they'd go through the hole. And then he made that spike. So you put a piece of tubing on that, when you put your on there, then put the tubing on that, you can wind it up without them slipping off. Then take the tubing off, put it on there and take them off.
That's
He was thinking.
no Jim Aaron's doing the thinking.
He did good on that. I
Yeah.
think Jimmy, it was a good idea.
Yeah.
That a 3D printed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this thing here fits perfect. This little, I guess the line holder. I'll put a piece of foam in there.
Oh, yeah.
But it just snaps on it just so nice. Click. This is cool, man. It is.
Yeah. Groovy.
I like it a lot. I do. Well done, Howard.
Thank
Well done. So I mowed grass at the model airplane field for 2 hours today, and then another hour and a half at home. We're on TV still. We've been doing a little traveling. So gonna rain 5 inches, they say, in the next 2 days.
Hmm.
They say. We'll see if it does, but you got snow last week, didn't you, Mark?
Yeah, a little bit. Melted pretty fast, but this time of year, anything can happen in Colorado.
It's not supposed to be winter time. It's supposed to be over.
Somewhere I've got a picture of my deck on May 1st, I think it was, with about a foot of snow on it.
Wow. What elevation are you at, Mark?
About a mile high.
Mile high. You're in Denver?
No, I'm up in Fort Collins, but we're just about the same elevation,
About the same.
the
Wow.
front range here. But about the middle of May, the weather starts to settle down and you get a really, good stretch until about the end of October.
Mhm. It's been terrible windy here in St. Louis. I don't understand.
Tulsa too.
It's been windy here too.
And it's not the sustained wind, it's these gusts.
We
might have 3 to 5 sustained, but gusts up to 20.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
They need to turn the harp off.
My friend Nebraska said, what makes the winds, the trees get nervous and start shaking.
Yeah.
They shut the harp off. The wet weather would settle down.
There's plenty of water around here right now.
Oh,
We
man.
drove to Carolina over the weekend, and every river you pass over and creek, it's up in the tree limbs. It's a lot of water, man. Mississippi's up in the trees. It's so full.
Let me see how many people we got watching. I'll end it on YouTube if there's not a lot of people watching. Let's see here. Come on. YouTube, how many's watching?
19.
Mine says 21, but
It's a good bit.
well, I guess I'll leave it run and Gary can turn it off. I'll hand it over to Gary.
Okay.
Hey, you're back, Gordon.
You got 7 likes.
Hey, we're gonna turn it off if I don't get 21 likes here before
There you go.
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Gordon back?
I don't see.
No, I don't think so.
Huh.
He's got ribs that fall off the bone. He's not coming back.
Oh,
There's a
no.
lag on this thing then.
Yeah, it's quite a lag. So what
Yeah.
you been doing, Joe?
I went to Triple Tree over the last weekend. Had a good time out there.
Oh, good.
Mark Weiss said they had a stunt clinic and a judging clinic. Did
A little
you-
one, yes. Just they did
How'd that go?
very good. The whole thing was well. It worked out good, I think. People want to go and learn and see things and do things, and it's good.
Well,
I
Mark,
should have had the book with me. I didn't know he was going to do it, so I didn't take my book.
oh, you always got to have your book.
Yeah, well, I wasn't planning on having a stunt clinic. I said, "Oh, that landing, it don't start at 5 foot. It starts where every airplane quits."
That's right. Yeah, that whole landing description needs to be tweaked, I think.
They worked on it 10 years ago. What's
Yeah.
a smooth descent and this, that, and the other? And
Yeah, that's it. There's only one word about the descent: smooth.
Well, we got 17 likes now,
All right.
good.
22 concurrent. So I'm not gonna shut the stream off. We'll let it run. Gary, you know how to close it out. You did it last time.
There's Kaufman showed up.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
only
he's
had
the one-
one thing though.
He's the one on yesterday, right? Caffeine, what day is it there?
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, no, they're ahead.
No, okay, so he's tomorrow.
Yeah, he's in a time zone that's close to New Zealand and Australia.
He's in the tomorrow.
It's tomorrow there. And he's indoors and he's not driving. How's it going, Caffeine?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Been doing any flying?
Yeah, well, actually, I went flying on Easter weekend, but not last weekend. And yeah, I've made some adjustment. During that flight, it turned out to be my lead out position was far off from the CG. So I tried to move forward, the lead out position, and it improved my flying.
Oh, good.
Good. Well done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was actually yeah, I found out after I got the plan on my P40 because because it is an ARF, so I don't have much information on CG and and stuff. So I after I got and then I recheck it, and then I found out that my CG point was my reference for CG point was was a bit behind, so that caused the lead out position was also far off. But in reality, my CG on the plane was spot on at the CGS plan. So yeah, I got the wrong idea of the position. So yeah, that's it. So I tried to match everything to the plan, and then voila.
Voila. I like
So
that. Voila.
what got better, Caffeine? What did you like?
The tension is now much more equal all around.
Hey guys, let me close this out on YouTube. I appreciate you
Yeah,
guys
it's-
watching. Thanks for the likes. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button. I noticed that only 13% of you guys have the bell notification set. So please ring that bell. That's the little white bell. Click it and it's got to turn black. so you can get notified when we come online. And I'll see you tomorrow. Fair winds, tight lines. Where the heck did that go? Shoot, now I can't get it off. There we are. There it is. All right, fair winds, tight lines. See ya. Okay,
Cool.
we're off YouTube. You guys can do
So-
whatever you want.
So Bob,
yeah.
is that subscribe